going to be a book review. One of the books I just read recently. It's called The Littlest Guide to Whales, Dolphins, and Porpoises. And it's one of the pocket books. And it's put out by the City Press. This is the 2000 edition. But it's one of those pocket books you can actually, if you're going on vacation and you're going to do whale watches, you can take this book with you, and it's a good source of information. So if you go on the coast, and usually it's if you live in the United States, it's California, Mexico, and on the East Coast, you know, you're talking all up around the seaboard. There's different mammals that cycle out there, different types of the year, so you have to go there when they're going to be out there. So it's pretty important to pick up a book similar to this, so that when you go there, you'll be able to identify the whales. Plus, you're going to, you'll be able to know when they're going to be out there. So, you don't want to head out there when the right whale isn't going to be out there. But, it gives you a good basic structure of what the whale's body structure is. Talks about the different types of whales. The blue whale is the largest. I think the blue whale is the largest mammal that was ever lived on the planet Earth, even outside the dinosaur. So, also talks, I found this of interest, that when whales feed, since they're filter feeders and they have huge mouths, what they do is they go around in a circle and they create this huge wall of bubbles around the krill that they're going to capture. And they do a circle pattern, and they do it as they go up. They just keep circling up toward the top, and they trap these krill in an area that they create with a bubble carton, and then they just open their jaws up and swallow all the krill, which is a clever tool for getting fishing. So, when you're thinking about in terms of whales' intelligence, they do have the ability to hunt at a pretty high level, and they're pretty clever at at what they can utilize for the hunt. But there's different types of whales. There's different types of teeth. That's what they have. You've got your smaller whales, and some are even look like dolphins. Dolphins are part of the species of mammals, so you have dolphins too. Some you have belugas, which are white dolphins, and then you have your black and white bottlenose dolphins, and you have your orcas, which are kind of a white and a black, They also breathe air, so mammals are a lot like us. They actually breathe air, and they don't, they're not just regular fish, which uses gills, which are kind of inefficient. They still have to, even fish go up to the air and gulp air if they're not getting enough air through their gills. You'll notice that if you go to an aquarium, that the fish do occasionally go up to the top and gulp an air bubble. But they're a lot like us. They breathe air, the same air we do, so they depend on the air to keep them around. The ranges and stuff are, each species of whale has a range that it operates within, and that's almost where some of the whales almost went extinct, because the whalers knew where they were going to be at, and they didn't have a broad enough range to get out from underneath the whale hunters. So, it shows you what the whale numbers are now as what they used to be. They used to be in the millions, but nowadays you're talking some are down to a couple hundred, and know, they hunted them almost into extinction. But their climate range is, you know, tropical, semi-tropical. Some go or stay in the Antarctic. So, yeah, it's kind of important to know which species that you want to go take pictures of and what time of the year they're going to be out there. It does cover that. So this is a good book to take with you for whale observation. And you know, it's a pocket book. You can just take it, put it in a backpack, and take it with you. It shows you how they their ability to move. A lot of the dolphins have a ability to slipstream, and they can speed up their going through the water by jumping out into the air and getting the slipstream and friction of the water. They escape it, and they can, by porpoising back and forth, they can increase their speed. So it's, you know, they're designed for they are designed for you know, for speed and escape when they need to. Dolphins are kind of interesting, especially when you get into extraterrestrial contact and stuff. Personally, the dolphin brain is no different from ours. You can put the dolphin brain side by side with the human brain of a Homo sapien, and it's about the same size. So, you know, the first contact with dolphins will most likely be a extraterrestrial intelligence, probably with dolphins. All they have to be able to do is find the communication means to teach a dolphin how to speak English and be able to communicate with us. So, but anyways, dog got loose on it. But anyways, the dolphin will be the first contact, and when they find the medium where they can actually communicate with a dolphin and actually communicate with the two be able to communicate with the dolphin in a sense that we can actually understand, because they have the same brain we have. So it'll be interesting. What they've been discovering is they can now, by putting a ring around the dolphin's neurostructure, and we have, you know, our ability to map brain function and stuff as it got more advanced, and we understand the dolphin's brain mapping too. We can also now see what the dolphin sees. So they can actually put a ring around the dolphin's head, and they can actually tap into these neurosensors and actually see what the dolphin is actually seeing too when it goes through, you know. So eventually they're going to be able to find some way where they can actually communicate with the dolphin. And, you know, once they create that medium, and you know, we don't really understand the dolphin's language other than it's just a lot of high-pitched squeaks and stuff that it uses for its sonar to navigate the ocean and stuff. It's not really per se a language, but eventually, once they find that medium, they'll be able to actually talk with the dolphins. So that'll be interesting. And then a lot of all that brain mapping and neuroscience stuff that they're actually doing on the human brain, discovering, that can also apply to the dolphins, and they'll be able to figure out some means where they can actually communicate with the dolphin, which would be very interesting. But there's different shows all their migration patterns and stuff. Shows you what the different whales look like. You know, everybody knows what a humpback whale looks like. It's one of the bigger ones. The blue whale's the biggest. But you got fin whales. Fin whales were almost kind of into extinction. They're pretty scarce. Your chance of seeing a fin whale, they're dumber and shit. And they hunters took advantage of that. So your chances of seeing one of them is pretty slim. The mink whale's the most abundant, but their range is all over the planet, so, you know, you just have to be at the right place at the right time if you want to see a mink whale. The narwhal whale is one, it's got a unicorn, a bone, just like a horn. It extends from its skull. It's the only whale that has that, but it actually extends so far away, and so a lot of people think some of the mythological stories about unicorns out the ocean and stuff came from these narwhal whales they discovered when they were running around on their ships. So that may be some of the origin of some of the stories. But there's all kinds of different. I always think the bottlenose dolphin, because you see them all the time at SeaWorld. But when you look at all these different types of dolphins, out there in the ocean, you think that everybody recognizes the bottlenose dolphin because you see them all the time at SeaWorld. They used them in Hollywood. They train them and stuff. And it's the most common dolphin that you'll see, like at SeaWorld. But there's a lot of variety of dolphins that even I wasn't aware of, like the Rizzo's dolphin, which doesn't have a real smooth skin. It's real rigid, and it's kind of wrinkled, And then you got a Hector's dolphin, which looks like a killer whale. I would almost, it would have fooled me knowing that it's not the same as a killer whale. It's actually a dolphin. But there's a Dahl's porpoise, which also looks like a killer whale. It's got the same configuration, but they classified it under a different classification. Here's a river dolphin. You don't think of dolphins as being part of the river, but in the Amazon River, they do have dolphins that are out there. So, which is kind of unusual. And People's Republic of China, they have a river dolphin that's totally white, which is different. It's not an albino, it's just a white dolphin. Talks about the whaling industry and the almost extinction of the whales. That's still a big problem. I'm looking at the numbers. I'll find it here, but it's pretty slim as to what their numbers used to be and what they are in today's times. But there's been all kinds of dolphin research. It talks about some of the research they've done. I'll talk a little bit about that. And here to show you some of the gear you'll need for whale watching, what to bring with you. Laptops, it depends on what kind of boat you get on, whether they have, that's available or not. Most cruise ships, you can take laptops with you. So if you go on a cruise ship, I would take this book with you too, because chances are, if you got binoculars with you, most of the ship's captains will call attention to the cruise ship that they see dolphins or orcas swimming around out there. They'll call you to the deck, to do bring your binoculars. So this, if you bring this book, your chances of identifying it are pretty good. Tells you what you need to photograph whales, what kind of camera you need, where to observe whales, but the talk about the dolphin sonar. You know, we don't have anything that we can emit. Our hearing is not the type that you can actually pick up a return. But a dolphin has superior hearing, and it actually can pick up stuff underwater and get that sonar. So we do. If you ever swam underwater, you get a steady kind of hum. That's not what a dolphin has. So in a way, a dolphin is better designed than us as to what it's in its ocean environment, as far as getting around the ocean and stuff and be able to navigate by that sonar. As far as eyesight goes, it's not a whole lot better than ours. So it depends on mostly it's sonar to get around the ocean. So you know, so if you're thinking in terms of whether we got the best deal, well, the Dolphin's got the better deal when it comes to swimming around the water, because he's got better navigation than what we have. And with that sonar, he also has the ability to navigate the ocean better. And you know, like, well, what does a dolphin use to navigate around the ocean? It's not something they really understand, because it's a huge ocean, and we use the stars and GPS, but a dolphin doesn't have that. You know, it's got the same brain we got, but a dolphin can surface. So, you know, who's to say maybe they don't use that? You know, but you know, they really can't explain how a dolphin navigates out there, other than you know, he does have sonar. So, you know, it's one of those mysteries as far as dolphins go. But you know, I keep up on dolphin research because it's just as important as what Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey did down in Africa studying the apes. The dolphin has the most in common with us, because he has the same size brain we got and the same brain. So, you know, people think, well, we're superior to the dolphin because we can't communicate with the dolphin, or the dolphin can't communicate with us. But that doesn't mean that's true. We'll eventually discover as to that communication medium that we can communicate with the dolphin. It'll be no different like talking to a human being, you know. So it'll be really, really interesting. I don't see too far in the future, probably the next 15 years, well, we'll have the ability to do that. So it'll make for some new marine biology positions with Jane Goodall type positions, where they could actually spend more time and teach a dolphin how to speak English and actually converse with them, and talk to them on a regular level that we have. So it'll be our first extraterrestrial contact with a terrestrial intelligence. Apes had a lot of the same behavioral traits we have, but they don't have our brain. You know, the dolphin does have our brain, so it'll be interesting, you know. So it'll be kind of a reinforcement for spending more money on astrobiology and stuff, because we'll have our first contact with the extra or terrestrial entity that's no different from us, you know.